substantive topic?
Sure.
On Iran, yesterday you were asked, Ned, about the coming together of a number of prominent Iranians in exile, joining hands to get together to prepare for a time when there is no Islamic Republic in Iran. And you said that the Biden administration is listening to the Iranian diaspora and wants to hear their views. What has changed that you're now openly saying that you want to hear from the Iranian diaspora?
We've consistently said that. I'm not aware of a time where we said we don't want to hear ideas from stakeholders. We don't want to hear ideas from the Iranian diaspora. That has always been our view. It's why within a couple weeks of the start of this movement in Iran, the secretary was meeting with members of the Iranian diaspora. The deputy secretary was meeting with members of the Iranian diaspora. We undertake that recognizing that no one, certainly not the U.S. government, but no one other than the people in Iran can claim to speak for the people in Iran. Well, only they can do that. But diaspora communities from regions near and far have important linkages back to their home countries. That's certainly true in the case of Iran. We've consistently wanted to hear from the diaspora community.
Does the Biden administration now agree with the Iranians, both inside and outside, that the Islamic Republic cannot reform itself and there needs to be a regime change?
This is a question that is not for us. This is a question that is for the people of Iran. We are listening to the people of Iran. We are hearing ideas from, in this instance, the diaspora, and we're seeking to find ways to support their movement and their aspirations. But it's a question for them to answer, not for us.
A couple more short ones. Iranian president is in China, as you are aware. The Iranian media are now saying that there's talk about resuming negotiations, nuclear negotiations, and that they will be in touch soon or something like that. Is the State Department willing to, or the Biden administration willing, should there be a proposal on this, on meeting and resuming and finalizing? Administration go through with it, given what's still going on in Iran?
Well, a broader point on this. I spoke yesterday to this, but we've consistently made the point that we've engaged with the PRC and other global stakeholders on to encourage, in this case, the PRC to take steps to counter Iran's policies that destabilize the region and threaten our partners and our allies. Iran's nuclear program, its ballistic missile program, its other malign activities and influence are profoundly destabilizing in the region. That is of concern not only to us, it should also be of concern to the PRC. Presumably, that's why the PRC came together with us the better part of a decade ago by now in the original configuration of the P5+1 to work with us to ultimately negotiate what became known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. My point is that the PRC has a role to play in very clearly signaling to Iran that its destabilizing activities, that its brinksmanship is not going to be rewarded, it's not going to be countenanced, it is not something that the international community is prepared to sit idly by and watch. Now, I would need to refer you to the PRC regarding any messages that they may have conveyed in that direction or otherwise, but it's our hope that on this challenge, the PRC will use its influence in a direction that would be in both of our interests.
Should the opportunity present, should they want to go back to finalize the talks, would the U.S. go in?
Again, the JCPOA has not been on the agenda for some time. We continue to discount, if not dismiss, repeated names from Iranian officials that we are eager to go back to the JCPOA. We're calling for a return to JCPOA negotiations. We're not. We're sending very clear messages to the Iranian regime. Those messages are stop killing your own people, stop sending UAV technology to Russia, and free those wrongfully detained American citizens.
One last one, I'm sorry, Sean. The UN human rights experts have put out a statement today saying that there's over compliance with US sanctions against Iran. And they're pointing to a couple of companies, interesting, one of them is Swiss, refusing to send medicine, pharmaceuticals for thalassemia patients in Iran. Is the State Department aware? I'm sure you have always said that you work with other countries to tell them about humanitarian assistance.
When it comes to sanctions compliance, we're concerned about both ends of the spectrum. We're concerned about undercompliance. When it comes to Iran, we're concerned about overcompliance because in some cases it could have implications for the Iranian people. And of course, our sanctions don't target the Iranian people. Our sanctions are a means to an end, not an end of themselves. And the end in this case is centered on Iran's nuclear program, its ballistic missile program, its human rights abuses, its destabilizing actions in the region. So of course, we have not imposed any authority that would have humanitarian implications on the Iranian people. Our sanctions regimes have humanitarian carve-outs. We go through them systematically to make sure that there is not a proviso or a detail that could be seen or interpreted to limit the flow of what should be humanitarian assistance to people around the world. That includes in Iran. We engage with private companies, we engage with private entities, we engage with countries all the time to emphasize that message that our sanctions are not punitive. We do not want to see whether it is countries or companies limiting what they're prepared to do to support the needs of the Iranian people or people around the world who may be subject, whose countries may be subject to our sanctions. Sean.